Javed Iqbal. A story of horror, justice, and an unresolved ending in the quiet lanes of Lahore, Pakistan. A story emerged in 1999 that would shake the nation and indeed the world to its core. Javed Iqbal, born circa 1961, was a man whose name became synonymous with evil. Over the span of 6 months, he murdered approximately 100 young boys, mostly street children and beggars, aged between 6 and 16 years, culminating in one of Pakistan's most gruesome and infamous criminal cases. Early life, silence, hints, and missed warnings. Little is known with certainty about Iqbal's childhood. He lived a largely unremarkable life until the mid-1980s, when whispers began to surface. In 1985 and again in 1990, allegations of sodomy were lodged against him. Despite police investigations, he was never prosecuted. His victims, too vulnerable, too young, too afraid to press cases. These early complaints would later cast a long shadow over the question of why law enforcement failed to act decisively sooner. Confession and capture, the beginning of dread. In April 1999, Iqbal surrendered himself to the Lahore police. But his confession was staggering in its magnitude. He admitted to the torture, murder, dismemberment, and dissolution in acid of around 100 boys. Over 6 months, he had lured victims into his home with snacks and promises, then assaulted and killed them. Detailed records of names, ages, and photos haunted the police examination room, morbid catalog of death. According to it, his monstrous actions were motivated by revenge. He claimed he had been tortured himself by the police during an earlier arrest and therefore sought to inflict suffering in return. A system overwhelmed. Gathering evidence once in custody, the authorities moved swiftly. They found Polaroid photos, detailed notebooks, and a ledger listing each victim. At his flat, teenage boys' clothes and blood-stained remnants confirmed the scale of the crime. Police also uncovered a large vat of acid, chilling evidence of his final act body parts dissolved and discarded. Taking shock detectives unaccustomed to such raw and systematic brutality nearly a week to piece together the evidence that pointed to nearly 100 victims. Trial and sentencing. The weight of 100 lives, the courts faced an almost unimaginable task. Presented with overwhelming proof, physical evidence, trial reached its climax in October 1999. Javed Iqbal was convicted and handed an incredible sentence. 100 death sentences, each for one murder. A sentence of public execution, chained in the same manner he bound his victim, his body to be dismembered into 100 parts and dissolved in acid, mirroring how he treated his victims, reclaiming justice through poetic retribution. It was a penalty so extreme that even Pakistan's Supreme Court would later review it. Yet the intent was perhaps singular: to realize poetic justice in a case that defied moral boundaries. The unresolved deaths in prison, suicide, or something else. Despite the chilling sentence, execution day never arrived. On the night of October 9, 2001, while awaiting execution in a Lahore prison cell, Javed Iqbal was discovered dead, apparently by suicide. He was found hanged with his bedsheet. Next to him lay the body of a young accomplice, also declared a suicide. However, questions immediately surfaced. How could 2 convicted killers commit suicide simultaneously in a controlled high-security area? Why were there no warning signs or investigations noted? Was prison violence involved? Was this system protecting powerful or embarrassing secrets? Officially, both deaths were ruled suicides, but skepticism runs deep. Many believe foul play took place either through silencing, a cover-up, or even perhaps regardless. No full independent investigation emerged, leaving the truth hanging in darkness. Public outrage and systemic failure. The case laid bare systemic failures, ignored early warnings from minor accusations, vulnerable victims who couldn't come forward. A criminal justice system unprepared for such calculated inhumanity. A prison system that failed to ensure the safety of a man awaiting execution. Families of victims were left with unanswered questions. Citizens were left unsettled. While Iqbal's death prevented the dramatic final punishment prescribed by law, it sparked broader debate. Should justice ever carry the cost of mirroring its horror? Legacy of horror, or a call for reform internationally? Iqbal's case is often cited as one of the most horrific serial killings in modern times. It forced Pakistan and other nations to confront the vulnerability of street children, the need for laws that protect the weak, the importance of early intervention in suspected abuse, accountability within the criminal justice and prison systems. Yet aged images of acid vats and triumphing homicide ramify long past sentences handed down. Conclusion. Shadows unprintable. Javed Iqbal's story is not one of closure. Whether he killed himself or was killed is unclear. His victims remain silent in graves, each a story without a voice. Their families were denied final justice. The deaths in prison only deepened the mystery. Today, Iqbal is dead, but the questions remain. Why weren't early accusations pursued more firmly? Who truly delivered justice, and was justice served? Are we safe acknowledging how close such darkness can be? 100-word final reflection, Javed Iqbal's case is a grim testament to human cruelty and institutional failure. Armed with grotesque planning, he exploited those least protected. His sentence smearing his own macabre methods raised ethical debate. Yet his death, officially labeled suicide, leaves a cloud of suspicion. Did justice claim its due, or did the system shutter the door on accountability? The scars remain on communities, on families, on conscience. History recalls Iqbal not just as a monster, but as a mirror to society challenging us. How do we protect the vulnerable, confront evil, and ensure that no one falls through the cracks again?